How do you address multiple solutions in a pitch deck story? Let's find out. All right, let's talk about the Value Proposition Canva and how you can use it to communicate the best value to your customers. Now, value proposition, if you remember, is really another word to describe your solutions. So what value do your products or services provide to your customers? So many people use that term value proposition to say, what's your solution? And in some cases, the value proposition statement is really a statement that describes your solution. So now you can see why they mean the same thing, but if you're just saying statement, it means one statement. But if someone says, what's your value proposition, they're really telling you, what's your general solution? What is your solution to the market? Now, you need that information so that you can tell a clear story. You want to position your products and services as the direct solution to the problem you just described. Now, if you have a simple solution, this is going to be easy because you're going to say, well, here's the problem and here's our solution plugs in to that problem. Here's how we can solve it. Now, the challenge could become harder if you have multiple solutions. Now, many of my clients have a variety of products and services, and they're not sure on which one to focus. Now, I had the same situation when I started as well. During my corporate career, I was the lead designer and eventually creative director for software companies. So I got to work on many projects and manage many teams for print, web, and digital media. But a lot has changed since I started. Now, marketing and all of these platforms have become very specialized. So it's very challenging. Now, I cannot keep up with all the platforms that come up. I cannot keep up with all the software. So naturally, I'm not going to be able to provide all of these solutions on my own. So I studied the market, and I tried to see what is the area that I can contribute to the most. And that's why now I narrowed down my services. I focus primarily on pitch decks and sales presentations, because after I examined all the problems my clients are facing, I noticed that really this is where they needed the most help. And this is with the area that not a lot of people were offering. Now, there are many people that can do logos, brochures, and websites, but very few people can do an effective pitch deck and a sales presentation. So now, of course, I still offer my existing clients, I still help them with whatever projects I started for them, but I don't go around and promote all my other services. I make it my priority right now to focus on saying I'm the pitch deck and presentation expert. So I'm focusing on this particular area. And that's how I dealt with this particular situation. So if you're facing a similar situation, my tip really is to focus on promoting the solution that can provide the most benefit and impact to your audience. Now, I sometimes see this a big challenge with my clients, because then they come to me and they say, well, HWAYDA, I don't solve one problem, I solve many problems, and I have many solutions for all of these things. So the story could become confusing. It becomes confusing to them because they're not sure what to put on the slide. It becomes confusing to me because I'm thinking, well, how are we going to create a pitch deck if you're solving multiple problems and you have multiple solutions? And then, of course, it's going to be very confusing to the audience if you send this as a pitch deck, which does not usually work well. Really, our goal here today is to try to narrow down. How can we narrow down your story so you can say, here's the problem and here's the solutions, because that's the best way to present your initial pitch deck. And to do that, I'm going to show you a common tool. That's because this is a common problem. Now, this common tool is called the Value Proposition Canva. Now, this is not something I did not create. It's a commercial template that you can find on a website called Strategizer. Now, Strategizer, they've created many of these frameworks. One that I'm going to show you later in the business model, we're going to look into one of their frameworks as well. So if you wanted some more training videos on it, you can go to their website. Right now, I'm going to show you an overview, which I think is enough to get you started. So let me walk you over the overview so you can see how this is going to help you narrow down. So when you're coming up with your solution slide, you know what to add on your slide. Now, really, the purpose of this Canva is to help you in three specific areas. First, it's going to help you define the customer profile, which we already started. Now, if you already worked on the target audience slide in the beginning section, you might have done already the user persona. So if you've done a bit of the digging around, you might have some of this information. So you need a bit more clarity on who specifically you want to help. Now, in this case, once you do this exercise, you might change your mind on your target market. But ideally, you just want to start with one market for now. now. And then the next thing, it's going to help you identify the most important components of your solution. So we want to see what is the most valuable part of your solutions that other people cannot easily replicate, or that's not oversaturated in the market. And the last part is going to help you achieve a product market fit. So you want to adjust your solutions and your message to create a better market fit for the people who need your solutions. So that's the purpose of this exercise. So this exercise is another way, it's going to help you answer the question, what do you need to get your ideal customer to go from their current state, which is part A, to their desired state outcome. We're trying to find that middle section, and how, more specifically, how do you communicate that middle section? Now, even if you know the answer, I think it's a good idea if you do this exercise because it's going to help you refine your solutions over time. Now, also remember that your customers could want different things. So they want to stop the pain. They might want to prevent future pain, or maybe they just want it's for the convenience, for the pleasure or pride of ownership. There are many reasons why people might want your solutions, which is why I like this Canva, because it has divided it into two particular sections. So you've got on the left, you have the value map. So this is the value you want to provide, and on the right is the customer profile. So I'm going to walk you through how you would fill this out, and once you filled it out, it's going to help you now narrow down what do you put on your pitch deck. So let's start with the customer profile, because that's where it all starts. It starts with solving a problem for a specific person. We're trying to find that market fit. Now, in the customer profile, that's divided into three sections. Now, the first section is you need to answer the question about the purpose of the product. So what does your customer want? So there are three different things that they could want. Maybe they just want to go from A to B, which is the current state, to a desired state. Maybe it's a social aspect. It's about impressing others. So it could be about pleasure. It's more about pride of ownership. Or maybe it could be something emotional, which is about gaining peace of mind. This could work well for prevention. So these are the main categories. Of course, this could be more elaborated on, but in general, that's what most people want to achieve. Now, what are your customers' frustrations and pain points? So we did talk about that in the target market, especially the user persona. So if you have a list of what are their common pains and frustrations, now it's time to plug them into the Canva. So what we're trying to answer here is, what negative outcome does your customer want to avoid? What do they want to avoid? So it could be dissatisfaction with the existing situation. Maybe they just don't like what the solution they have right now. Maybe they have specific obstacles and frustrations. They want to solve them. Or it could be risk. They're trying to prevent future risk. And the last category is customer gain. So really, what does your customer hope to accomplish or gain? What is it? What is the desired state? What is it that they want? And it could be concrete results. So maybe they just want results to go from A to B and the specific result. Maybe they're looking for specific benefits. So it could be specific benefits of the product. Maybe there are other solutions on the market, but they don't have that particular benefit. Or it could be aspirations, something that they want to feel, or kind of a pride of ownership, or an experience or convenience. So really, the more you know about the customer, the better solutions you can provide. So this would be a starting point, and you can see here it's very easy. If you just look at it from a 3 different angle, ask yourself these questions, it's going to help you now fill in the next part. And of course, the next part is really to create the value map of products and services. So what products and services does your ideal customer need to solve all these problems and questions that we just covered? So let's start with, what do they want to gain? So what features, products, or services would make your customer happy? The next thing is pain. How do your products and services relieve their pain, or how could they relieve their pain? And then the last question is, well, what products and services do they need to accomplish all of this, to help them get what they want and to help them avoid the pain? Now, while this section won't list every single product or services you offer, we're really just trying to get an overview of the areas you need to focus on, because that's what we're looking for. What do you focus on, and what do you include in your presentation? Well, now that you can see the big picture, you'll be able to focus on products and services that will create the best results, because really this is what's going to help you stand out. So what is it that you want to focus on? What do you want to put on that slide? So by doing this exercise, it's going to help you answer, do you want to focus more on helping them get the job done? Do you want your message to be about avoiding pain? Or do you want your message to be about the benefits and getting concrete results? So you can see here, you don't want to be covering everything, but if you can pick one of them and make that your focal point, it's going to make your slide much more meaningful. Okay, now let's take a look at an example. So I'm going to show you what I did in my case, and it might inspire you to come up with a solution for yours. So when I did a study of what do my customers want, I plugged them down. So what is the job they want to do? So if you're looking at the right, the blue section, well, they want to present their ideas and solutions to a new audience. And now what do they want to gain, which is the green section on the right? Well, they want to gain credibility. They want to probably gain new partners. They want more funding if they're in a new idea. They want sales if they're already in business. And the bottom part, the navy blue, is what do they want to avoid? Well, they want to avoid looking amateur. They want to avoid being laughed at if they're in a meeting. They want saying, oh, what a ridiculous idea. They want to look more credible. And they want to avoid not having enough time. They're already too busy. They want to avoid getting more stressed. So these are some kind of the general points of what they want. Now, on the left side, I plotted down, well, what can I do to help them with their current situation? So with what do they want? So they want credibility. Well, what if I give them a step-by-step process? What if I give them live support so they can get this done faster? What if I give them feedback and comments so that they can fine-tune their messaging? Now, in terms of avoiding looking amateur or being laughed at or not enough time, well, what if I give them templates? If I give them a template and all they have to do is fill it out, that could be a good solution. And what if I give them done-for-you services? You know, why do you stress about it? Let me do that work for you. So that means I need to have that done-for-you services. So when I looked and combined them, then I put on the left in the light blue section, well, what type of services can I offer to provide these? Well, I can offer coaching. I can offer courses to show them how. I can do workshops to help them get things done faster. And of course, services where I get to do the service on their own. So when I looked at it and I realized, you know what, this is a lot of information. Now, if I'm going to put all of this on one pitch deck, it's going to be very confusing. And if I put that on one website, it's going to be very confusing. And so that's why after doing this exercise, I divided my offerings, my value proposition into two. So my first value proposition is the services. So this is where I get to provide all the services, all the done for you services. And then my second value proposition is where I provide the coaching and the training. So coaching, courses, and workshops all fall under one umbrella. And that's why I made the decision to have two different websites. So first I've got the Magnas Media, which is all about the services. So if you need services done, you'll go to Magnas Media. This is for clients who specifically need services. They don't want me to show them how. They say, you know what, here's my work. You just get it done and tell us what's the best way to do this. And then I have my other category of clients who prefer to do it themselves. They say, you know what, I want to systemize this in my company. Why don't you just show me how, let me learn, and then I'll take this and I'll teach my teams what to do. So there are two different categories. And I find that the people who need the services are not the people who need my training. And the people who need my training are not specifically the people who need my services. So that's why I divided them all. And when I'm sending a pitch deck, I don't talk about all my other services, like I can do other services. I do have other things listed on my services website. I keep it very focused. So if I am talking about presentations and pitch decks, I would send a problem slide talking about presentations only. I don't talk anything about creative directions. I don't talk anything about graphic design. It's more specific about talking about the problem that presenting your ideas and products and services is challenging, and I say why. And then on the solution slide, do you need help? Now, this is one of the samples. I always adjust my slides to fit the audience, and I recommend you do the same. So now, as you work on your value proposition framework, try to be specific so you can create a solution slide that will make sense to your audience. Now, markets are changing, which means your customer needs, wants, and tasks are also going to be changing over time. So make it a goal to revisit this process at least once a year and make sure that your solutions fit the market needs. Because if you remember when we talked about earlier that many businesses fail, it's because their solutions do not fit the market need. So this is an exercise that is valuable to do on a regular basis. This process will help you create better solutions, and most of all, it'll help you create better presentations, pitch decks, sales presentations, and also decide what type of content you would want to put on your website. So your action item for this specific video really is to work on your value proposition Canva and start plugging in some of the elements. And if you need help with your teams, maybe you can make it you can ask your team, sit together and map it out. But I would say always go with your gut feelings. Go with the first thing, write what comes to mind, and go fast. Usually your first instinct is the right one. And as you get market feedback, you can start making adjustments. So go ahead, get started, and I'll see you in the next video.